Did you know the British passport has dropped out of the world's top 5 for travel freedom? Once considered a golden ticket, it's now facing more closed doors than ever before. In 2025, something unexpected is happening. Countries that once welcomed Britons with open arms are now tightening their borders, or slamming them shut completely. Why? From rising political tensions and past colonial baggage to visa rule shakeups and tourist crackdowns, being a Brit abroad just got a lot more complicated. And it's not just one or two places, it's a growing list. Major travel hotspots, dream vacation islands, even longtime allies, all saying no entry. So which countries have had enough? And what does it really mean for UK travellers? Stick around. Some of the names on this list will shock you. Number 10. Saudi Arabia. In recent years, Saudi Arabia has made headlines with its big push for tourism under its ambitious Vision 2030 plan. From ancient ruins to futuristic cities in the desert, it's aiming to become the next big thing in global travel. But if you're British, don't expect a red carpet welcome in 2025. Behind the glossy tourism ads lies a different reality. UK travellers are now facing tighter screening, higher rejection rates, and stricter entry conditions than ever before. Why? It's a mix of politics and perception. Although Saudi Arabia offers e-visas to Brits, solo travellers, unmarried couples, and non-Muslim tourists, many of whom come from the UK, are being flagged more often during background checks. Reports suggest that many visa applicants are being denied without explanation or are stuck in endless processing delays. On top of that, Saudi officials are growing wary of cultural clashes. Social media posts from foreign visitors showing behaviour that clashes with Saudi customs, think revealing clothing, public affection, or alcohol use, have triggered a backlash. British influencers in particular have been at the centre of controversy. And let's not forget diplomacy. With the UK government often voicing criticism of Saudi human rights issues, there's tension under the surface that may be affecting how welcome Britons truly are. So yes, Saudi Arabia is technically open. But if you're travelling on a UK passport in 2025, expect more hoops to jump through, more questions to answer, and a lot less certainty about getting in. Is a trip to the Saudi dunes really worth the red tape? Number 9. Malaysia. Malaysia was once a go-to escape for British travellers. Tropical beaches, vibrant street food, and a 90-day visa-free pass made it a Southeast Asian gem. But in 2025, things have taken a sharp turn. The government is now tightening entry for UK citizens, especially those seen as overstaying their welcome. Why? The rise of digital nomads, many from the UK, has created a wave of long-stay tourists who live and work in Malaysia without proper documentation or contribution to the local economy. Authorities have had enough. In January 2025, Malaysia revised its visa policy, slashing automatic entry for Brits to 30 days in some regions and implementing strict rules against visa runs, the old trick of leaving the country for a day just to reset your stay. Even more alarming, immigration officers are now turning people away at the border if they suspect you're coming back too soon or without clear proof of departure plans. And don't count on breezing through customs. Many travellers report being questioned for hours, sometimes even detained for unclear travel intentions. If you're a Brit hoping to work remotely from a Kuala Lumpur cafe or soak up sun in Langkawi all winter, 2025 is not your year. The message is clear: contribute legally or don't come at all. Have you ever faced entry issues while travelling? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear your experience. And if you want to stay ahead of global travel changes, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Number 8. Turkey. On the surface, nothing seems to have changed. The bazaars of Istanbul still buzz with colour and chaos. Cappadocia's skies are still dotted with hot air balloons at dawn, and the beaches of Antalya are still dotted with sunbathers, many of them British. But beneath the postcard-perfect scenery, the atmosphere for UK travellers in Turkey is quietly shifting. In 2025, subtle barriers are going up. British tourists are finding their e-visas delayed or denied, and many are being stopped for extra questioning at entry points, sometimes for no obvious reason. What changed? Insiders point to mounting political tension between the UK and Turkey, largely tied to British foreign policy and its public support of certain Kurdish groups, an issue Turkey sees as deeply sensitive. While no formal travel ban exists, the behind-the-scenes tone has cooled. Then there's the cultural element. Turkish officials have voiced frustration over certain groups of Western tourists, especially British partygoers in areas like Bodrum and Marmaris, who've clashed with local norms. Drunken brawls, disrespect toward religious sites, and social media antics have left a mark. The result? A country that still smiles on the surface, but no longer offers the same warmth behind the scenes. In 2025, traveling to Turkey with a UK passport means stepping into a more watchful environment. It's not hostility, it's distance. Not denial, but discretion. You're still welcome, but only just. Number 7. United States. The United States and the United Kingdom, the so-called special relationship, a bond forged in history, war and, well, shared Netflix libraries. But in 2025, that's special treatment for British travellers. It's feeling more like a polite nod and a very thorough pat-down at customs. Yes, technically, Brits can still travel to the US under the ESTA visa waiver. But lately, more UK visitors are being randomly selected for enhanced screening, aka long queues, strange questions, and sometimes a little suitcase rummaging. So what's the issue? It's not one thing. It's a slow drip of factors. Brexit's ripple effects, differing foreign policies, cyber concerns, and, let's be honest, British travellers who can't help oversharing online about politics, protests, and other sensitive topics. Officials won't admit to targeting any specific nationality, but British visitors have increasingly reported being flagged for secondary inspections, especially if travelling solo, frequently, or to less touristy destinations. Even family holidays aren't immune. Some travellers are being asked for proof of return tickets, job letters, or even bank statements, stuff that used to be unheard of for UK citizens. It's not a ban, it's not even an official policy shift. But it's definitely a vibe, so if you're a Brit heading to New York or Los Angeles in 2025, pack your patience. The Statue of Liberty may lift her lamp beside the Golden Door, but these days she's doing it with a side-eye and a background check. Number 6. Indonesia, Bali. Imagine this. You've just landed in Bali. The air smells like incense and sea breeze. Motorbikes zip past shrines draped in marigolds. Everything is beautiful, until you reach immigration. That's where the paradise postcard fades. In 2025, Indonesia, particularly the island of Bali, is no longer rolling out the welcome mat so easily for British travellers. The issue? Behaviour. Or rather, the growing reputation of some foreign tourists treating the island like it's their personal playground. And unfortunately, many of those headlines feature Brits. From Instagram influencers disrespecting temples to partygoers caught skinny dipping in sacred waters, local patience has worn thin. In response, the Indonesian government has introduced stricter entry checks, new visa quotas, and even mandatory cultural orientation briefings for tourists. Some UK travellers are finding their visas delayed or rejected without clear reasons. Others are being pulled aside for questioning on arrival. Even those who get in are now under watch. Local police and immigration units have stepped up surveillance in major tourist areas, looking for violations of public behaviour laws. This isn't just about etiquette, it's about image. Bali is trying to clean up its reputation and reclaim its identity as a spiritual, cultural haven, not a beach bar colony. So while Brits can still technically visit, the island's message is clear. Come respectfully or don't come at all. The sun still sets golden over Uluwatu, and the rice terraces still glow green after the rain. But the welcome has a new condition: respect the land or risk losing the invitation. Number 5. Russia. If there's one place that's gone from complex to closed for British travellers in 2025, it's Russia. Let's be blunt. This is not about tourism anymore. This is about diplomatic fallout. Since the invasion of Ukraine, Russia's relationship with the West, particularly the UK, has deteriorated into something colder than a Siberian winter. The UK has imposed sanctions, expelled diplomats, and cut cultural ties. And Russia? It's returned the favor with bans, blacklists, and barbed rhetoric. For British citizens, the message is clear. You're not welcome. Visa applications are now routinely denied without explanation, and in many cases, not even processed. Those who do manage to get in, journalists, business people, or dual nationals, often report intense scrutiny, surveillance, and in some instances, detention for vague security concerns. Tourism is virtually non-existent. Flights are rare and expensive. Travel advisories from the UK Foreign Office warn against all but essential visits, and even that comes with risks. Add to that a rising tide of nationalism inside Russia, where foreigners, especially from countries seen as hostile, are treated with suspicion. Being a Brit in Moscow today isn't just uncomfortable, it's unsafe. Even historically neutral areas like St. Petersburg or the Trans-Siberian route have gone quiet, with tour companies cancelling UK bookings altogether. Once a land of rich culture, sprawling landscapes, and haunting beauty, Russia has now become a no-go zone for British citizens. And there's no sign of that changing anytime soon. So if Russia was on your bucket list, it might be time to rewrite the list, or wait for a very different political climate. Number 4. Brazil. Sunny beaches, samba beats, carnival chaos. Brazil has long been a favorite for British travelers chasing adventure and sunshine. But in 2025, you might want to pack a little more than sunscreen. Like a visa. After years of welcoming UK tourists visa-free, Brazil has now reinstated entry visa requirements for British citizens. And it's not exactly a coincidence. This move isn't about tourism numbers or border security. It's about reciprocity. For years, Brazil allowed Brits to stroll in without paperwork, while Brazilian travellers had to go through full UK visa applications, often facing long delays and high rejection rates. In 2025, Brazil decided enough is enough. The new policy means UK travellers must now apply in advance, submit financial documents, proof of accommodation, and wait up to 2 weeks for approval. It's not impossible, but it's a hassle, especially when neighbouring countries still let Brits in with a simple passport stamp. And let's be honest, British travellers aren't used to this kind of paperwork for leisure. Many are shocked to learn they can't just hop on a flight to Rio anymore. No last-minute getaways, no carnival on a whim. Tourism boards have tried to soften the blow, emphasizing the mutual respect angle. But behind the scenes, this is classic diplomatic tit-for-tat. A quiet reminder that travel freedom works both ways. So if Brazil's been on your travel radar, don't cancel. Just plan smarter, earlier, and with a bit more patience. The beaches are still there, but now there's a bit more red tape between you and Ipanema. Number 3. South Africa. The UK and South Africa share a long, complicated history, one that's left deep cultural ties, a shared language, and a steady stream of British tourists flocking to Cape Town's vineyards and Kruger's safari drives. But in 2025, that long-standing ease of access is quietly slipping away. Earlier this year, South Africa reviewed its visa exemption list, and the UK didn't make the cut. Now, British citizens are required to apply for a visa in advance, a process that includes biometric data, proof of income, and, in some cases, interviews at consulates. Why the shift? Part of it is about reciprocity. The UK hasn't exactly made it easy for South Africans to visit Britain. High rejection rates and strict documentation demands have led to frustration, particularly among young professionals and students. This new policy is, in many ways, South Africa returning the favour. But there's also a deeper layer. In recent years, concerns over unregulated migration, job competition, and resource strain have become flashpoints in local politics. While not aimed solely at Brits, the tightening of borders sends a message. Tourism is welcome, but it must come with structure, fairness, and respect. Many UK travellers are caught off guard. South Africa was always seen as accessible, familiar, even friendly. But now the process feels more distant, more formal, and at times less inviting. So while the landscapes remain breathtaking and the people warm, the path to South Africa in 2025 requires more paperwork, more patience, and a reconsideration of privilege many British travellers once took for granted. Number 2. China. In 2025, travelling to China as a British citizen is no longer a matter of curiosity and culture. It's increasingly a matter of caution and clearance. Though China never offered visa-free access to UK travellers, the process has grown noticeably slower and stricter. What used to be a predictable, if somewhat formal visa procedure has turned into a diplomatic minefield. Now, even tourists are navigating increased documentation demands, heightened background checks, and unexpected delays that stretch into weeks or even months. This isn't just red tape for the sake of it, it's geopolitical signaling. The UK and China have seen a steady unraveling of trust. From outspoken criticism of human rights in Hong Kong and Xinjiang to restrictions on Chinese investments in British infrastructure, the relationship has cooled considerably. China, in turn, has responded in kind, not through loud bans but quiet walls. British applicants now report a higher rate of visa denials, particularly for journalists, academics, or those with travel history to politically sensitive regions. Even standard tourist applications are under greater scrutiny, often with added requirements like confirmed itineraries, sponsorship letters, and detailed financial disclosures. There's no official ban in place, but the effect is the same, a slow squeeze on mobility, making casual travel to China feel more like an intelligence vetting than a holiday plan. So while Beijing's skyline still dazzles and the Great Wall still stretches across the hills, the barriers between British citizens and China's iconic landmarks are growing taller. And they're made of politics, not bricks. Number 1. India. For generations, India and the UK have shared one of the most entangled legacies in global history, marked by empire, migration, culture, and conflict. It's a relationship defined by deep roots and deep wounds. But in 2025, that legacy is starting to show cracks at the border. India has significantly tightened its visa process for UK travellers, shifting from digital convenience to bureaucratic friction. The delays are long, the questions are pointed. And for some, the door is simply closed. Officially, this change is framed as a standard revision of immigration policy. Unofficially, it's hard to ignore the simmering diplomatic tension. India has grown increasingly frustrated with what it sees as the UK's condescending attitude on trade negotiations, post-colonial narratives, and especially the growing Indian diaspora's treatment abroad. The final push came when Indian officials accused the UK of political hypocrisy and unfair scrutiny toward Indian citizens seeking UK visas, particularly students and skilled workers. India's response? Mirror the treatment. British travellers now face a complex visa process, even for short tourism. Background checks are more thorough. Business visas are taking longer, and high-profile political comments from UK officials haven't helped. For British citizens who once felt a sense of emotional or ancestral connection to India, this new reality stings. The warmth is still there, from the people, the places, the traditions, but the welcome feels colder, more conditional. India hasn't slammed the door on Britain, but it has made it very clear the relationship must now be based on mutual respect, not historical familiarity, and if that means waiting weeks for a visa to see the Taj Mahal, so be it. And there you have it, 10 countries where the British passport doesn't open as many doors in 2025. Have you felt the shift while travelling? Drop your story in the comments. We actually read every single one. If you found this eye-opening, check out our previous video on countries that still welcome Britons with open arms. We put serious time and research into these videos, so if you appreciate the work, hit subscribe. It's just one click, but it means the world to us.